Thank you. Good to go.
All right. Good morning, everybody. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Noting that we have a quorum present, the first item on the agenda is to approve the minutes from our meeting on November 20th. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes? Or if there's any changes, let me know. All right, so we got Dave Cadera approving, or the first motion is second.
Second.
All right, I think it's Dick Cotlow. All in favor? Aye. Anybody opposed? All right, I'm going to move around a little bit to try and accommodate time constraints and other people who are on the call. The first item that I'm going to go to is the COVID-19 small business grant approval. We have all the information in the package about those grants. One thing that's going to have to change is that the date on this this memo here is going to have to change because that date is incorrect. But Tom Conley has the information. He'll make sure that that gets changed in the final documents that get approved for our meeting. Any questions or comments? Dick Cotlow, could you take us through?
Yeah, I would say on page 10 of the packet summarizes our two applicants since our last meeting. Barefoot Space and the Bethlehem Grange. Both applicants met the criteria that the board has established. Both have asked for $500 for PPE and other authorized uses, and we all on the committee unanimously consented that they're worthy and appropriate to grant them each $500, which is our maximum grant. So you have it in your package. So is there any questions on Barefoot Space or the Bethlehem Grange?
No. Hearing none, we have a resolution to approve those two grants. Can I get a motion on that resolution, please?
So moved.
Was that Dave?
No, not this one.
Oh, okay. Was it Dick?
Yeah, I moved.
Okay, can I get a second?
Second.
I'll second.
Okay. It sounded like Tim
Victoria?
got in there first. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed?
Frank, I didn't hear the second.
It was
Tim.
Tim. All right, we're going to move down to the application by, started from the bottom, the transfer. And I think we have some people on the meeting who are going to talk about this.
Yes, I think it's Frank, Sarah Belcher. I saw her earlier. And the principle of started from the bottom.
Okay.
Good morning. This is Sarah Lewis Belcher from Bond Shenick & King, and we represent the applicant Started From the Bottom LLC. As Tom mentioned, we have Dr. Rupan Trika on the line as well.
Hello.
Managing member of the LLC. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
So we are under contract to purchase 41 Vista Boulevard, which is ShopRite and Slingerland's, and everything is going to stay the same. It's currently leased to ShopRite, a long-term lease with renewal options. That lease will stay in place. Everything will continue as is, but with a new owner. And so we're looking for the current IDA benefits to continue for the project.
Do any of the members have any questions?
So ShopRite will continue to occupy the building.
Correct.
Okay. And there's no changes in their lease agreement, no extension, anything like that?
No, none whatsoever.
Okay.
Any other questions? Hearing none, let's go down to the resolution. And I think, Joe Scott, you're going to take us through that.
I will, Chair. Thank you. It's on package page number 160. And by way of background, under our IDA documents, they're fairly tightly written. They don't permit the assignment of our IDA documents to another party without our consent. And so the purpose of this action here is for us to consent to the assignment of these IDA documents from the current company to this new company. The operative provisions that I'd like to point out to you are on packet page 162 at the bottom of page 3. There's no environmental impact here because, as the project applicant has indicated, there's no change in what's going on at the project site. If you go to the next page, 163, at the top, there's no new financial assistance. Accordingly, there's no need or requirement for a public hearing. And then there's a whole slew of conditions that need to be satisfied before this assignment takes place, and that's all outlined in section 2. Those conditions are very similar to what we've imposed on project applicants in prior assignment transactions. This IDA has done a number of those. I'm happy to discuss any of those in detail with you. The one point that I will make to you, which I think is a subtle point, and it reflects the work that Tom and I do to make sure that the IDA is protected in these transactions, that if there's any overhang, if you will, with respect to an obligation owed by the assigning company, that obligation becomes the obligation of the new company under these documents. So if someone owes us an administrative, if the prior company, the current company, owes us an administrative fee and that's not caught before the assignment, that's not our problem, it's the new company's problem. And a failure to adhere to those requirements will result in an event of default under the documents, and we'll be able to exercise remedies. So the new company is stepping into the shoes of the current company and taking on any and all obligations, and the relationship between the current company and the new company is something that they need to work out. So with that, I'll open it up for any comments or questions.
Any questions for Joe? Hearing none, can I get a motion on this resolution, please?
So moved.
Who was that?
Dave.
Okay. Can I get a second?
Second, Dick.
Thanks, Dick. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, that passes. Note that there was a fee approval there, or fee that we expect the company to pay of $1,500 to the agency. Can I get a motion to approve that fee?
It's already in the resolution.
Okay, so we're all good with
You've
it.
approved it, so it's taken
Gotcha.
care of.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
For coming to the meeting today.
Your time.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to go to Canon Development and the application for assistance. This is the Burt Crane project. Tom, could you take us through this?
Yes, I will. So this project has been going on for a long time, so I'm going to kind of bring everybody up to date on what's happened. The agency reviewed an application on January 24, 2020, a year ago, and passed a resolution to schedule a hearing. The hearing was held on February 26, 2020. We had a discussion meeting immediately afterwards. A report of the hearing and minutes of the discussion meeting are in your packet. Then the project was held in abeyance while the project worked its way through the planning board process. And we needed this because we're waiting for seeker to be resolved by the planning board. A month ago, November 17, the planning board issued a resolution that approval of a new warehouse will not have a significant impact on the environment, and that this determination constituted a negative declaration under the Act. This opened the way for the agency to consider a resolution approving financial assistance. That's what's before you today. In the meantime, the applicant revised its application on November 6th, a little more than a month ago. The effect of that was to reduce the cost of the project by about $100,000. The reduction in cost does not require a new hearing. Today, the board is being asked to grant financial assistance in the form of exemption from mortgage recording tax, exemption from sales tax, and standard real property tax abatement, followed by an enhanced real property tax abatement. The agenda materials include all the documents that you need to make this determination. It includes the revised application, the revised enhanced application. It includes the uniform tax exemption policy, our policy. And if you look at packet page 68, you'll see criteria that you need to select from when granting any of the exemptions that I just mentioned: mortgage tax, sales tax, standard abatement. In addition, when considering the enhanced abatement, you have to look at packet pages 73 and 74, which have criteria for an enhanced abatement, different criteria. It's a two-step process. The two steps are: does the company qualify for the mortgage recording tax, sales tax, standard abatement? Number one. Number two, does the company qualify for an enhanced abatement? In your materials, you've got a cost-benefit analysis for a standard abatement and an analysis for an enhanced abatement. You've got as I said, the public hearing report, the minutes of the special meeting, a seeker resolution that we have to pass that piggybacks on the planning board resolution. And lastly, you have drafts approving draft resolutions, which can be amended. Please note that Joe and I have put in criteria that we think apply. You should look at it, make sure you agree. We put these in because it's easier to cross it out and still pass the resolution than it is to draft new language and try to insert it. And I know Deborah Lambeck is on. Is Bridget Hubel or Thomas Scheib here as well? Deborah?
Bridget had to bring her son to school this morning, but as soon as she was done with that, she was going to be calling in. So okay. I hope she'll be here soon. Yes.
Well, so will you be the representative describing the project? Okay. So Deborah Lambeck, attorney for the applicant, will briefly describe the project and then answer any questions.
Thank you, Tom. So as Tom had said, Canon would like to develop a 27-acre parcel of land to construct a 28,000 square foot commercial facility. 60% of the facility will be occupied by Burt Crane Rigging for the operation of its crane company, including indoor storage. The land selected for the project is unused and underutilized. Burt Crane thought the location right off the New York State Thruway would be perfect for its operations, as it may help increase the reach of its business into other areas of the state. Burt Crane is currently located in Green Island, and the existing facility lacks much indoor storage space. The indoor storage is necessary not only for equipment repairs and maintenance, but also for providing storage for client equipment. This deficiency makes the company much less efficient and much less competitive. The new facility would enable the company to better streamline operations and provide clients with services they cannot really offer now. The company has looked at locations in other municipalities and other states, but the first choice is this location in the town of Bethlehem. They looked at other sites in Montgomery, New York, Newburgh, New York, and Springfield, Massachusetts. The company has submitted an application to the IDA requesting financial assistance, as Tom had mentioned, by way of sales tax exemption, mortgage tax exemption, and real property tax pilot. The company would like approval for the enhanced pilot. A pro forma was provided to the agency for review showing the difference between the viability of the project with no pilot, with a standard pilot, and with the enhanced pilot. The returns to the company as a result of the project remain low, even with the enhanced pilot, but the company is looking at the project as an investment for its continued growth in the future. The one thing that is important, however, is the ability to finance the project. Most lenders are looking for a certain debt service coverage ratio, which the enhanced pilot would provide. The company has had conversations with KeyBank and Saratoga National, and they are both inclined to provide financing if we are able to obtain the enhanced pilot agreement. As Tom had mentioned, the project did receive site plan approval from the town in November, and the company would like to break ground in the spring for construction.
Questions? This is the letter that we got. It's important to note that Shive Corporation will guarantee the applicant's obligations to the agency. These are the different sites that Deborah mentioned that they looked at as alternative sites. Questions?
I have a question. Deborah, is Brookcrane moving its entire operation from Green Island to this new facility, or is this going to be a second facility?
I don't think they're not going to be moving their entire facility there. This is going to be, I think they're going to be keeping the existing facility too, as they own that land also.
Okay.
Yeah.
But any future expansion of the business would occur at the Bethlehem site?
Would occur at the Bethlehem site, and this site's perfect for that. It includes a lot of room for additional buildings in the future if they need it. And like I said, the room for their indoor storage, which they really don't have right now at all.
And you are still planning on leasing some of the new space to a second client or a third client. Is that correct?
Yep. About 40% of the 28,000 square feet we intend to lease to third parties.
And is there any progress in that, in terms of that leasing?
I don't know that they've aggressively been out there trying to lease it yet until they knew that they actually had a project to provide to the tenant. Yeah.
Is there any particular type of project that they're looking to lease to, or any tenant?
It's going to be. Tenant? I mean, it's going to be warehouse space. So probably any company that needs warehousing or maybe a warehousing with a small office. But it's commercial warehousing space.
Okay. And Tom, a question for you. If there is a second tenant, would the IDA have to be involved in any of those decisions regarding a future tenant, or Joe?
No.
Okay.
Correct. The documents permit the leasing in the ordinary course of business subspace within that facility.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Chair.
No.
Question.
Go ahead.
Deborah, did you say that financing of the project is only possible with the enhanced benefit, or it would be the terms would be more favorable with the enhanced benefit?
I think they may have an issue financing the property without the enhanced benefit because the debt service coverage ratio is so low.
Can you just remind us what the two debt service coverage ratios would be under the enhanced and the standard benefit?
Yeah, so under the enhanced, we're looking at 1.18 to 1.2. It does change a little bit over time, but with the regular pilot, it would be 1.04 and 1.05. A lot of lenders are looking for 1.1 or 1.2. So this doesn't meet the 1.2, but we've already had conversations with KeyBank and Saratoga National and believe that the 1.18 that we're showing here would be sufficient for them.
Thank you.
Other questions? Yeah, Victoria.
First, thank you to Bert Crane and Deborah. These annual cash flows I asked for last spring. Thank you very much for providing them. And these are pages 60, 61, and 62. This is the first time the IDA has asked for these. So for the members, I'd like to use this very briefly to explain what this is telling us. Page 60, where it says no pilot, these are the cash flows. And as Deborah said, right down at the bottom, the line is highlighted in red. They're not even meeting debt service coverage without a pilot. And as you can see, the annual cash flows from the project are negative, which means that Bert Crane would have to continue to use its own money to support the project well into operations. That's the no pilot scenario. On page 61, with the standard pilot, it's slightly improved. They do have slight positive cash flow. As Deborah said, the debt service coverage ratios are below what a bank would ask for to provide financing. I calculated equity dividend ratios for the first 3 years based on those annual cash flows, and was just looking up equity dividend ratios yesterday for work. And that's a shortcut for a rate of return for the project, and you can compare it to a market benchmark. Under the standard pilot, the return on investment in the first year is just under 1%. That cash flow is very small, given that they're investing close to $800,000 of their own money as equity. And even by the third year, the rate of return just noses over 1%. This is well below what a company would look for to make this kind of investment in the market. On page 61, with the enhanced pilot, we see yet another improvement. The numbers show the debt service coverage ratio that Deborah has expressed as being satisfactory to the banks under the circumstances. The annual cash flow has risen to $33,884 in that first year of operations, and that delivers an equity dividend ratio of 4.33% on their investment equity. That is still on the low end of what the market would demand for this kind of a commercial enterprise, but it is at that point, it's up to Bert Crane to say this is an acceptable rate of return. One reason that I asked for these cash flows last spring was to help the IDA get its arms around the difference between a standard pilot and the enhanced pilot. And does the enhanced pilot provide an above market or excess rate of return? And that is absolutely not what we're seeing here. We are still seeing what is a little bit below market rate of return, and that is for Bert Crane to manage over time. But as I see it, and again, thank you for providing this level of detail, I don't think that the enhanced pilot provides excess. It does look as though it's very, very important to the success of the project.
Victoria, thank you for that great analysis. Other questions and observations?
Yeah, this is Dick. Couple things. First of all, I'd like to thank Bert Crane for thinking of Bethlehem to invest in Bethlehem. It's sort of business that I personally think fits our plans and our mission. So thank you. One thing I did ask, and Bridget, I know Bridget's on, requested to see whether or not you did receive the word that you were approved for an WBE going forward. Has anything happened with that?
I don't know that Bridget's on the call yet. This is Deborah Lambeck. Is she there?
I saw her come on.
Oh.
Yeah, she's on. She's on mute.
She's on mute.
Oh. Bridget, can you unmute your phone?
There you go.
I'm calling in. Can you hear me?
Yes.
No, sorry, I'm on my phone, my phone number and on my phone for the app. I do not have an update on that yet. It's been, we submitted it for renewal in January of 17. So coming up on 4 years now, just monitoring the website. So no news yet.
Okay, nothing you can
As
do
far
about
as
that.
they've explained to us that as long as we are in the renewal process, we are still considered a WBE.
Okay, the only reason I bring this up is that I have experience where the state has been pretty hard on some WBEs, and I just hope that because of what you've done and where you are, that you get the approval. 4 years is an awful long time, but thank you very much for that update.
Other questions? We performed through our contractor CGR the economic analysis, and I got to get to that. This is the economic analysis for the standard tax abatement, and the summary. This is the executive summary. The total net benefits, according to the analysis performed by CGR, were about $6.8 million. This is the benefits to the region, to the town, and so on and so forth. This is the executive summary part of that. And then if you look at the executive summary for the enhanced abatement, the total net benefits were just over $7 million based on the enhanced abatement. Any other questions or comments? So let's go to the resolution. And I think either Joe or Tom, who's going to take us through it?
Well, there are two resolutions. Why does Joe take you through the standard resolution first?
Okay.
The approving resolution, or it's really up to you. Logically, that makes sense to me.
Yep.
Because we have to approve the company for our basic financial assistance. And then after you do that, do they get enhanced benefits above that?
Okay, Joe.
Chair, my suggestion, however, is that we look at the seeker resolution first, because we can't adopt either of the other two resolutions until we've done our seeker resolution. So if you want to simply do an explanation of the two approving resolutions, if you will, and then go back to the seeker resolution, that's fine.
Let's do the seeker. We're there, right there.
All right, got it. Okay, so the seeker resolution is, as Tom indicated, is straightforward. The planning board was the lead agency. We're simply confirming that they are the lead agency and that we have no reason to second guess their determination of a negative declaration with respect to the project. This checks the box for us with respect to our seeker requirements, and with that, I'll open it up for any comments or questions.
Hearing none, can I get a motion on this resolution?
So moved.
That was Victoria. Can I get a second, please?
Second.
I'm not sure who that was.
I defer to Dick.
Okay, that was Dick Codlow. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay. Thank you. Next, the approving resolution. Joe?
Yeah, will do, Chair. And that's on package page 99. Tom indicated this approves the granting of financial assistance with respect to the project. The structure is they'll lease the project into us. We'll lease it back. There'll be indemnifications. There'll be insurance. The benefits are the sales tax, mortgage recording tax, and assuming the enhanced pilot is considered and approved, the enhanced pilot. If not, then it'll be the standard pilot. What I'd like to bring to the attention of the board is the findings on package page 102, please. And I'd like to focus on section 3, midway down on page 4. Section 3B, the project is a project as defined under the IDA statute. It's located completely within the boundaries of the town of Bethlehem. We indicate what the estimated project cost is. And you'll see item E, which is a point that was raised by Mr. Cadera about abandonment. There's no pirating going on with respect to this project, other than preventing them from moving out of state, which is entirely appropriate under the IDA statute. At the top of package page 103, you'll see in item F that this is not a retail project. That's another hot button item with respect to IDA projects. This is not a retail project. And then, as referred to by Tom earlier in the discussion, there's a series of findings under paragraph G. And these come right out of your policy, and they reflect the criteria that the IDA uses to evaluate projects. As Tom indicated, council, namely Tom and myself, worked through these criteria and crafted this language. These resolutions were delivered to you in advance with the idea that you would focus on these provisions. I can touch them briefly just to make sure that we're all on the same page. I'll highlight a couple of them. G1, the project is an industrial project. Item 4, there'll be 5 permanent private sector jobs created. Items 5 and 6 are mathematical calculations based on the amount of benefits and the so-called abatements being delivered to the project applicant. Item 8, we describe the amount of private sector investment. Based on representations by the company, we expect the project to be completed timely. Item 10, no seeker impacts based on the negative declaration issued by the planning board. Item 12, and this was referred to by one of the IDA members. This is new employment, a new project coming into the town. Item 13, we will enter into a clawback agreement. Item 14, we have reviewed the public hearing record. I think really that's all I need to refer to in those lists of criteria. The only other item, Chair, that I'd like to point out, actually there are 2 matters, excuse me. The next matter that I'd like to point out is that given the sensitivity expressed by the members in the past about clawback issues, we have actually inserted the clawback provisions in this resolution so that you see what they are in draft form. And I'll refer you to the Exhibit A to this resolution where it describes the clawback provisions. Again, that's not a bright line test. Our clawback agreement and our clawback policy provides for give and take between the project applicant and the IDA. So if there's an issue where there's a lack of compliance, there's an opportunity for discussion and perhaps negotiation. The last item that I'd like to point out in the resolution is if you go to packet page 105, and again, this is also this is a hot button item for this particular IDA. If you look at section 10, we have our expiration language in our resolution with respect to the need to undertake the project within undertake and complete the project within a certain period of time. And with that, I'll open it up for any comments or questions. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Joe. Comments, questions? Joe, where in the resolution is the information about Bert Crane's guarantee?
I don't actually have that specified in there, Chair. I can certainly see.
Joe, we should add it.
And I can do that. I'll add it as one of the findings. So we go A through K. I'll add an L that the parent will guarantee the obligations of the single purpose entity that is undertaking the project. I can certainly do that.
Okay. Are there other comments and questions? So with that revision to the resolution, can I get a motion on this?
I'll move. This is Victoria.
Thank you. Can I get a second, please?
Second, Dave.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay. So next we go to the enhanced tax abatement resolution. Tom, you going to take us through that?
Yes, I guess I will. I'm sure you've all read it. Obviously it's
What page is that on, Tom? Sorry.
it's a packet page 98.
Thank you.
So it approves the enhanced abatement, and it sets forth the criteria that they will have net new capital investment, will develop underutilized real estate, will be consistent with the town's comprehensive plan. Remember that our economic development coordinator has been trying to develop this particular site for a number of years and has advocated, said that the town needed more warehouse space, and that fits that requirement. The project will provide greater market penetration with the potential to have a catalytic effect on the construction industry in the Hudson Valley. I'm pretty sure this is the only crane and rigging business in the town of Bethlehem. And it's consistent with the regional construction industries and will promote diversification in the town of Bethlehem and in Albany County.
Thank you.
So
can I get a motion to approve the enhanced abatement for this project, please?
So moved.
Can I get a second?
I'll second. This is Victoria.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye.
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 Anyone opposed?
who was the movement on
Dick.
It was Dick Cotlow,
Dick?
and then Victoria was the second.
I got Victoria. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Bert Crane and Deborah Lambeck, for all of your hard work to get this to the point where the project is going to be realized. I know it took a long, long time, and with the issues related to COVID, I'm thrilled that it just got done. So thank you.
Welcome to Bethlehem.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate it.
All right. We're going to go to item number 3, which is the monolith resolution that we discussed at the meeting last month, where we would lay out all of the different situations and things that we've done regarding the monolith project. I don't know if Joe Scott or Tom Conley. One item that's going to have to change is this date right here, because the year is incorrect,
Right.
and so we'll have to get that changed.
I'll put in the correct year. I think it's 2017, but I'm not sure. So this really documents our conversation at the last meeting. and documents the fact that we're not going to continue to try to collect the debts that SAE Sun Monolith owes the state of New York and the agency.
And it lays out pretty clearly all of the different things that we've done, especially down here, where we were notified basically that we couldn't pursue collection any further. So with the one modification to the year, can I get a motion to approve this resolution?
So moved. Dave.
Okay, Dave. And can I get a second, please?
Second,
Second.
we got to move on.
Dave, or I think, Dick, you were in there first.
Well, Victoria, I'll give it to Victoria. It's fine.
All right, we'll give it
Thank
to
you, Dave.
All right. And I got a mover and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Anybody opposed? Okay, thank you. All right, so that gets us through. We're going to go back to committee meetings. There were no committee meetings, right, Tom?
Correct. No committee meetings.
Okay, so we're back here with committee meetings. Any communications?
No communications.
Thank you. Rob Leslie, Planning Board update.
Good morning, everyone. No news on planning board activities, but I do have some news on economic development items, so I'll move right into that if that's okay.
Sure.
And Frank, if you don't mind, I'd like to share my screen.
Sure. And let's see.
So I can share. It'll stop your share if that's okay.
Yeah, go ahead, go.
Okay, so just a few update items here. Want to show you an update on the status of the what is our 2018 Microenterprise Grant Program. As I think most of us know, this program runs for a period of 2 years. I provided an update to the town board last week, and I felt it would be appropriate just to give the IDA members an update on where that program stands. So just as a way of background, this program is offered by the New York State Office of Community Renewal, and our microenterprise program provides resources to support and foster the development of micro businesses by providing grants for typically fixtures and equipment to these businesses. In total, the town has been awarded for three programs since 2014. We had the 2014 program, 2016 program, and 2018 program, which is where we're at today, looking to wrap that up. $200,000 in each of those program years for a total of $600,000 that has been utilized to implement the program and award to businesses. These awards have ranged from $5,000 to $35,000. These are micro enterprises of businesses that have employees of 5 or fewer. We've awarded 27 businesses to date. Taking a look at some of the job numbers there, we were able to help out these businesses by retaining 9 existing jobs. And that number is actually a bit bigger if you look at jobs that have been retained of business owners who also had to hire an employee. So that number isn't really captured in that 9. 21 new jobs were created, and overall, I'd say between a combination of new jobs created and jobs retained, at least 50, if not more. We don't have the numbers of existing employees that were part of some of these businesses. So, but I would say at least 50 jobs either retained or created overall for the three program years. So looking at the 2018 program, we made 8 awards. 5 out of those 8 awards have completed their grants. They've completed their grants and are all set. 3 other businesses remain active. One business is 50% complete. That's Inferno. Greenhouse Cafe. That business is in process They are looking at a potential opening in the spring. And then the final business, Smart Home Outfitters, they're also in process and they also need to hire a job. If you look at these three businesses, the first one there, Inferno, that still remains to complete, that is a fitness facility. Greenhouse is a restaurant, and Smart Home Outfitters is a in-home smart electronics installation company. All affected by the pandemic. All have public relations, relations with the public. So certainly understandable that these businesses were impacted by the pandemic and were unable to complete their grants. However, seeing that, the town did request an extension for the grant program. The program was supposed to end in December. We requested a 6-month extension, and New York State Office of Community Renewal made that extension. So the extension brought us to June of next year, and that should give ample time for these businesses to complete their grants. Unfortunately, going forward, we do not have another program to run in 2020. Typically, we would have seen a solicitation from New York State in 2020, but that never came. Obviously, it's clear that that's due to the current economic condition of what we're in the state's financial situation. So we do not have a new program to solicit and run, but the town will certainly keep an eye on that when that solicitation is made and go after that grant and look to have a 4th program at some point. Any questions on the micro enterprise program?
No, that's great.
Okay. Moving on to other items. The town board at its December 9th meeting did make an approval on the residential land use moratorium. That moratorium will occur for 12 months while the comprehensive plan is being updated. To be clear, that moratorium is related to large-scale residential subdivision applications and site plan developments. Those residential development projects that have already received their approvals will be able to continue in construction and receiving building permits. Residential housing additions, remodeling, anything else that requires a building permit will also be allowed to continue. It's only essentially an effect on the large-scale subdivisions and residential site plan applications that will be paused for 12 months. Commercial and industrial applications and construction have no effect. Those are allowed to continue. So moving on to our comprehensive plan update. All video meeting recordings of our committee meetings, as well as our video, as well as our public meetings, are available on our Bethlehem Forward Facebook page. So if anyone is interested in keeping up to date on what's been going on, if you can't tune in live to any of those meetings, they are recorded and available for viewing at a later date. You can go to bethlehemforward.com. That's the project website. Find links there, as well as the Facebook page and Instagram account at Bethlehem Forward. And emails and for comments can be sent to an email address, bethlehemforward@townofbethlehem.com. So actually last week, we had our December 8th public meeting. This was a public meeting held to really talk about needs and opportunities surrounding various topics. One topic did include economic development. We had over 110 participants log into Zoom and participate with us on the 2-hour meeting. So it was a great turnout. I'm glad to see the public engagements and folks are interested in participating and helping to establish the vision for Bethlehem 15 years, going out to at least 15 years. So with that, we broke up those 110 participants into 7 breakout groups. Kevin Dwaka, who is a land use and economic consultant on the consultant team, facilitated the economic development breakout group, and it was a useful general conversation about economic development in town, looking to hear from residents and their thoughts. Summarizing what we heard, there was much interest in small business assistance. That was a common theme that we heard from that group. Probably about 16 or 18 people participated in that group. interest in small business assistance was discussed. Looking for the town to provide more grants, promoting the existing grants. The town certainly mentioned the existing microenterprise program grants that have been, underway for the past three rounds. The IDA's PPE grant was also announced, as well as chamber grants. So folks are interested in more promotion of any grants and providing more grants to small businesses. It was suggested perhaps to provide incentives for new signage or a facade improvement program, encouraging small businesses to refresh their facade. So somewhat of a focus on small business. Also an emphasis on the Albany County Rail Trail. That seemed to be another common theme of related to economic development, connecting businesses to the rail trail, walkability, and looking for ways for businesses to be able to promote on the rail trail while utilizing that rail trail, which extends east to west throughout our town, would be useful for small businesses. And it was mentioned that food trucks were on the rail trail this summer. Some success, but thought that the county needed to do more with that effort. And then it was we also heard about encouraging more social gatherings where businesses could participate. Festivals, Chowder Fest was mentioned, Fall Fest at Four Corners, ways that businesses can help to participate and bring the community together was also discussed. Moving towards our committee meeting on Wednesday, December 16th, Kevin Dwarka also presented on Bethlehem's existing economic development conditions, looking at the regional context and our local economic conditions. That information is on the web at our meeting video. Kevin gave a brief summary. More is being done, but it was a brief summary of the current local context as far as the industrial sectors in town, job numbers, and that was also provided. So that information, as I mentioned, is on the website. It is on through the video, and if folks are interested, they can visit that webpage as well. And so right now, where we are with the comprehensive plan update, we are in the community profile assessment. We'll be looking to provide a context of economic development conditions in town. We haven't moved into goals and recommendations just yet. We're in the existing conditions phase. At our meeting on Wednesday, we did hear from Vista Development. They did participate as a public commenter, looking to engage the town in discussions of Vista as far as how to advance Vista, possibly reimagine Vista. There was comments from the Vista representatives regarding making some changes to the allowable land uses on the property, opening up the land uses to perhaps more residential and retail. And so, that will certainly be something that the Comprehensive Plan Committee will need to consider moving forward. That's all I have. Any comments or questions on those items?
Great report.
Nice.
Okay, let's go to Al.
Okay, you have the financial statement for the month of November, your packet page 6, 7, and 8. The statement of net assets, cash accounts total $441,910.90. Prepaid expenses $160.42, giving us total assets of $442,071.32. Liabilities, we had accrued expenses of $19,849.21, giving us net assets $422,222.11. Going to our statement of revenue expenses, total income year to date is $55,203.09. On the expense side, salaries and wages $24,284.04. Contractual expenses $65,166.84. Employee benefits of $54,44.52. Our total expenses are $94,895.40. We have a deficit of $39,692.31. We have interest income of $15,92.71, and then our economic development grants, the Grants total 55,2877 is an expense. So our net loss for the year is 43,628.37. Compared to budget, you can see our income, we're actually over budget. We had obviously reduced our budget drastically in response to the pandemic and what we were seeing around us. On the expense side, we are a little bit under budget on our contractual expenses, as we usually leave a little bit of extra room in there in any given year, just in case some bill comes in that we don't expect. And employee benefits, we'll probably see maybe a slight adjustment to the employee benefit when the town reconciles their state retirement contributions this December. So we're actually ahead of budget by about $10,600, and after the grants that we did, we're about $4,000 ahead of the budget. And in December, we will recognize 2 more months of what we expect the income to be for PP or PSEG. Plus, we generate a little fee income with the ShopRite change. So the year will end a little better than what we thought we were going to have back in May and June. Are there any questions?
Okay, thanks, Al.
Okay.
All right. A lot of stuff going on this month. Any other new business? I got to get back to the agenda. No other new business? Reminder that our next meeting is January 22nd, 2021. Hopefully it'll be a much better new year. The audit committee meeting. The members of the audit committee are Tim McCann, Dick Kotlow, and Frank Venezia. Last year, we met with the auditor following the regular meeting for about a half an hour or 45 minutes. I know Tim McCann is not on today, but Al, are you available after the next meeting on January 22nd?
Yes.
Okay. Tom, are you available?
Am.
Dick, are you available?
Sure. Yep.
Okay. And I'm available. So let's schedule that for immediately following the regular meeting on January 22nd, as long as it works with the auditor. And Tom, can you arrange that?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll talk to John Criscone.
Yep. Okay. And I know he's already started the planning. I remember seeing an email from him about some of the planning stuff going on already. So we should be okay.
Frank and Dick.
Yep.
If you recall at our last meeting, you requested that maybe Ken make an appearance at one of our meetings.
Yep.
So maybe Tom, can you
Should be the time. So see if Ken Claflin can be available for the meeting too, Tom.
Okay.
All right.
You want both of them there or
Yeah.
participating?
Yeah. Yep. Seeing that there's nothing else, best wishes for the holiday coming up next week. As best you can, have a great time. And hopefully 2021 will be a much, much, much better year. Thank you, everybody. Can I get a motion?
Likewise.
So moved.
So moved. So moved.
Can I get a second?
Well,
Somebody second.
Second.
allocated. Yeah.
Yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And look at that, we're right on time, 9 o'clock. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Nice holiday.
Thank you.
Have a good holiday.
Thank you.
Good holiday, all.
Good holiday.